Good morning, folks. Welcome to today's live stream. Today is Thursday, and it's going to be a fantastic day. Excuse me. Ted, I'm going to read your comments here in a second. But we're going to get started here in a second if you're here for the first time. I'm glad that you're here. My name is Tyler. I'm going to be navigating you through the wild world of day trading futures. And we're going to be sharing my daily trading bias. I'm going to be giving you a front row seat to all the action. We're going to talk about order flow. We're going to talk about PD arrays, discount, premium, all that good stuff that helps you understand how price moves, where it may be going, and how to look for a trade. So we're going to be doing that in this live stream. Now, if you are following the stream and you are considering using a prop firm, if you're looking to go from a personal account to a prop firm and you want to use somebody else's cash and save your pot of gold for another day once you master your craft, you can use the code DTJ, which is, I'll link it down in the chat, where you can get anywhere, right now you can get 80% off your next eval account with Apex. Apex is doing an 80% sale. You can use the code DTJ. I'll link that in the chat, and you can use that. And lastly, let's go ahead and open in prayer, and we'll get started. And we'll start off with Ted's comments. I've read just the first one here, but we'll read all of them. So, Father, we just honor you this morning. Thank you for the opportunity I have to be able to sit here and trade, to stream with fellow traders. Father, I just pray that you would bless the work of our hands, that we would see increase in what we do, Father, and whether the increase is in our P&L or if it's in our character, Father, I just pray that we would not forget that you are in control. Father, we honor you and we thank you for your goodness. In Jesus' name, amen. And with that, good morning. How are y'all doing? Ted, good morning. JB, good morning. T-Loff, good morning. Good to have you guys. Ted, you are reading in 1 Thessalonians 5:1. Encourage one another, build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. Thank God for the community you're bringing around, Tyler, and everyone in this group. I appreciate that, man. This is supposed to be an uplifting, encouraging group where we inspire each other, we encourage each other, we build each other up, and we run for the dreams that are on our heart. Too many times we are a part of communities around people that are okay with the status quo, that are okay with, the quote-unquote American dream, live a comfortable lifestyle, make $100,000 a year and be good. But the truth is, if you want to do anything great in your life, you have to push yourself. You have to apply yourself to something greater. You have to develop yourself even deeper than you thought you could. And I am all about that. And I want that to be this community, and specifically a community that is surrounded by the belief that the Lord has given us purpose, that he has given us a mission and a purpose here on the earth to accomplish. So I'm really excited for what that is, and thank you for the reminder, Ted. I really appreciate that. JB, do you have a video on how to execute trades with Apex, Trade Copier, and TradingView? Your TradingView tutorials are the best I've found. I do not yet. I've considered doing that, but because I had it all set up, I just haven't done it. So I'll make a note to try to make that into a video, but I think that may be helpful. You're not the first one that has asked. And Ted, I have Trade of 8. I don't have Ninja Trader. I do Trade of 8. So I can do it on Trade of 8, but I couldn't do it on Ninja Trader. For anybody that's watching. All right. With that being said, folks, we've had news come out at 8:30, and look at that candle. It's straight down. Let's go here. Straight down. Boom. And it didn't really have much of a reaction. So we ran the highs and the lows of the data candles. So the data candles are done. We ran the high over here, and we're kind of consolidating. We may consolidate till 10 o'clock. So I'm going to put a vertical line on 10 o'clock just so I don't forget and I can see it here. This is going to be probably the point that we will begin trading. But if something comes up, we will consider, but I'm not too worried about it. Maybe we'll do the 930 model, but that's probably about it. But let's jump out from a higher time frame. We got 8 minutes before then. Okay, let's take a look here. We had this fake break day where we have this high sitting here. Let's mark that. We have this high sitting here and this low sitting down here. So we are still inside this day and we're either moving higher or lower. My impression, just based off of this candle here, was that we didn't make a lower low and we closed above the closed price from Tuesday. So what I did is I put a wick, I put the previous day wick equilibrium right here. So the middle of this wick is sitting on this dark green line. This dark green line is really my barometer to tell me if price wants to move higher or lower. Give me a second. You start talking in the morning, if you don't drink enough water, you get groggy. Sorry for my camera. It sometimes does this. My camera might be dead. I might need to replace the battery. Give me a second, folks. All right, we got that fixed. So going back to the higher time frame analysis here, if we stay, this wick right here is my barometer on if price wants to move higher or wants to move lower. So if we drop down to the lower time frame, we can see that wick, or the previous day wick equilibrium sitting right here. This is the midpoint of that wick. So if we can stay above, you can see it's already referenced it a few times. Here, we broke lower, or excuse me, beginning of the day was over here. So we closed, or we opened, and we went straight to this level, and we've been sitting here since open. Now if we drop down to the 15-minute, I had this initial BISI right here that I wanted to see price support at. Because if we're going to stay above this midpoint, we need to find a PD array. Well, the news candle kind of messed all of that up, but it immediately came back up above it. So I'm disregarding this, and I want to see how it still reacts to the previous day wicks equilibrium on the daily time frame. So this is based off and anchored to the daily. We do have a London low sitting down here. So there's a possibility we may need to run down to that. We'll see. We'll see if it wants to do that. We just need to see the price action on price. But with that, we are now have to go down to a lower time frame to see if price wants to find support above this wick. And that's going to be in the form of this 5-minute right here. So we're going to watch this 5-minute and see if it wants to find support here, if it comes down to it. And that's going to be our level to really keep track of. But we have a discount opening range gap, meaning we could fill this and we could see prices come back down here. So if we see prices run down here, how are we going to react? Are we going to come through it or find resistance at it? So those are the things that I'm looking for, and those are the things that I'm considering as we open here in about 1 minute. We got a 1 minute fair value gap. So this 1 minute fair value gap, we want to see if it wants to hold here as well. If we break through it, that would be potentially a nice trade towards the downside. Maybe running the low, maybe coming to the London low. We also have the new day opening gap sitting down here. So there's a few potentials on what price may want to do here. We swept liquidity here. We still have liquidity here. I'm not interested in taking, if we're going to get a long candle like this, I'm not sure I'm interested in taking the 930 model, but the structure's still, yeah, the structure's still there for it. Let's see if it gives it to us. And there it is. We got tagged for the 930 model. Nice. But we're watching this 5-minute. Do we want to find support here at this 5-minute? That's kind of what we are looking at to see if we want to push higher from here. Now remember, we have news at 10 o'clock, and unless I see the perfect breaker or the perfect inversion, I'm not taking a trade till then. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be an absolute no-brainer. And if you're like, Tyler, I don't know what a no-brainer looks like. Let me show you. Let me show you. Here's a no-brainer. We sweep liquidity at 8:30. We run lower. We hit a breaker inside a fair value gap with a draw on liquidity lower. And this kind of just makes its way here and then drops. To me, this is a no-brainer. Do we have one of them going on right now? I don't think so. I don't think so. The obvious one. I don't have an obvious one here right now. Missed some of that, my brother called. Did you look at the midnight open only been ran through once. No, midnight open is sitting down here too. Yes. Midnight open. Now, but before we can look at that, Ted, before we can look down here, we really need to see how we react to the consequent encroachment of the daily wick on the daily. And you can see so far it's been supporting it. Besides this right here, we've been supporting it. And our initial look was at this 5 minute. That's our determination if we're going to see higher prices from here. And if we run the previous day high, then we're probably running all the way up to these to the Asia high and this daily fair value gap potentially up here. So we have the ideal target is the daily time frame or the daily fair value gap, which also has equal highs and the Asia high sitting over here. So we're going to mark this. Those are equal highs. So we'll see how that wants to react. But I'm bullish until we prove to ourselves we want to stay below the equilibrium of the daily wick. With that said, there's a nice 5 minute breaker right there. Now, how do I want to see a 5 minute breaker work? Well, it's not going to be, let me change the color to my blue so I know it's 5 minute. Meaning it would need to do something like this on a 5 minute time frame. That's what it would look like. It would need to give a lot of space here. I'm not going to take it on the next candle, tag it to move higher. I'm not going to do that. Not on the 5 minute. Morning, Alkai. How we doing? Good morning. Good morning. Tony, good morning. Good morning. Guys, we got news at 10 o'clock, and as you can see, everything is just chopping sideways, so we're going to probably wait till 10. Unless, like I said earlier, we get the trade of a lifetime. Looking bullish. I did call out this 5 minute. I said this is the level I would want to see it find support at. Now, we weren't able to take a long from this. There's just no long opportunity. When we look at the 1 minute, where was 930? I need to mark 930 anyway. This is 930, 930 here. There we go. No, don't want to do that. This was 930. There was no opportunity to go long here. If it created more structure, it left a fair value gap, something like that, then we may have an opportunity. But there was just no opportunity. Looks like we got our first fair value gap. Probably going to high resistance until news. Yeah, that's what I think. Let's jump to the hour. We can see lower prices. It just depends on if we can't stay above this wick. If we can't stay above this level here, then we can see lower prices. I'm not opposed to lower prices. I mean, we could reach all the way down to this this hourly fair value gap down here. We could run the midnight open that hasn't been tagged. Now, this right here looks nice. That's a breaker that I would potentially be interested in. This inversion played out from the first fair value gap. I just wouldn't have taken it because it was inside of all this consolidation and I wasn't sure if it was just going to go back into staying in consolidation. But it did play out very, very nicely. There's just not an entry for this. ICT is calling out Tuesday's first fair value gap as a possible inversion. Where's Tuesday go? I don't even know if I have that up here. Right here. That? Well, it did not do that. I'll tell you that much. We didn't even run this high right here. So now that this wick is not in play nearly as much, I'm moving price down to equilibrium. So yesterday's EQ is now this level here. So let's drop down back to the 5-minute and you'll see it. So it's sitting right here, overlapping with the new day opening gap. Look at that. It like sprinted right towards midnight open. We're probably running into the midnight open. Only way I'm going to take a trade is if it gives me an inversion back to take it to the midnight open. That's an amazing inversion though. You get in on that inversion, close your eyes, don't look for about 10 minutes. Oh, what is that? That is 160 points. 170 points. Just close your eyes. Click the button. There's your tag of midnight open. Crazy. Wouldn't surprise me if it just shoots straight up from here. We got anything down here? Fair value gap. Nope. Just the reaction off of that 45 points. I'm dropping down to the 15-second because we have no structure and I want to see some structure. This technically right here is a breaker on the 15-second. Doesn't look too bad. Low, high, lower, low, displacement here. See you, Ted. So midnight open was inside that fair value gap. Oh yeah, the untested fair value gap from way over here. Sitting right here. I'm gonna take, no, where are we? What time is it? Still got 10 minutes. I like that retest of that. If it wasn't at midnight open, that would be nice to potentially take a short. I don't think it needs to run all the way down to the previous day low. I'm not sure it's going to. This was just created at 4:20 p.m. But certainly looks like it wants to move that way. Well, we took out 2 4-hour lows. About to make a third. I considered getting in here. I really did, but the main reason why I didn't is because of 10 o'clock. That was the main reason. Bannock. 15-minute did look pretty gnarly. A lot of wicks going on there. I'm gonna play a reaction to this to see if we react. I'm gonna wait till it closes, see, or it reacts from here, and see if we can get just a scalp for a retracement.
Order submitted.
I'm gonna see if we retrace here. Now that we swept this low right here. Just looking for, there it is. Oh, missed it.
Order submitted.
I'm going to have to close this. I missed my exit. Let's see if it gives us a wick back up here into this fair value gap for the first time. Doesn't look like it.
Order submitted.
I'm going to close that. I missed my exit. I went for 10 handles. It flashed it. I didn't have my limit order set. I was just looking for 10, and it didn't give it to me. We'll see how we have this level right here. That's our previous, that's our low. If we have a lower target, that's it. I don't know if we entered a bear market. This is, look where the middle of this range is. That's crazy. Right in the middle. Right at February's low. That's perfectly balanced for where this retracement is. It makes me think I shouldn't try to go short, but I could totally be wrong. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice low. Do we chase it?
Order submitted.
Let's see if it goes. Nope.
Order submitted.
This is why you don't chase. What you're seeing right there, folks, that's an eval account, by the way. What you're seeing right here is, that's why you can't do those things. It's like, when do you get in? Oh, well, no, it's not going. You can't do it. We got 10 o'clock just around the corner. Let's see if we get a reversal right here at 10 o'clock. All right, 10 o'clock tagged that low. That's just crazy. Look at the 4 hour. Guys, we may run even lower. I'm going to expect some. Okay, so at this point, here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to look for some type of 5-minute retracement up to maybe the previous day low, and then see if we can get a continuation lower. I can't just take this straight down. I have to wait for some type of retracement. So I'm going to wait, either play the retracement or wait for the retracement and look for a continuation lower. This candle closed above the low. We'll see where this candle closes. What was the news about? Was it consumer confidence? No, it wasn't. It couldn't have been consumer confidence. Let's see. 10 o'clock news was pending home sales. Yeah, pending home sales. They're low. They're not where they should be. Sorry for my camera. Let's see if it resets here. See how this is not aggressive? Yeah, these are big candles because of how much movement we've gotten, but these aren't aggressive. So to me, this is telling me a retracement, not a reversal right now. So maybe we come here, maybe tap it again, a failure swing, and then we move higher. Or we tap here, make a lower low, and then we come back higher. Or we hit this order block, and then we move lower again. But because 10 a.m. is a big point of a reversal, I would be more apt to seeing if we can get a retracement from this price leg. See if that 10 a.m. candle gets inversed. If it gets inversed, I'm not personally taking it. Because I would want to see a failure swing first. Just gives me more confidence. It's not very, you don't very often get a V-shaped recovery where it just goes boom, boom. It will give you something like this. But, I mean, it doesn't mean these don't work, because they do. That's just insane. Look at that daily candle, man. The daily candles. It's just trying to get out of this range. I mean, I want it to get out of this range. I would love for it to just keep going. Maybe even all the way down to 19.7. Down to this place over here. All the way down to here. I doubt we get that far, but this looks now better for a move above this inversion right here. Putting in an order block. Looks like consolidation if the LTF MMM, I don't know, lower time frame market maker model. Yeah, I'm going to take this long right here. I like it better now that we put in this order block, those two down close candles.
Order submitted. submitted.
I kind of want to let this run.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
I'm going to sell it there for 20 handles. So if this would have come up the first time and closed here, I wouldn't have taken it. But because we had a failure swing lower and then we closed above it, I'll take that trade almost every time. Yeah, I'm only doing scalps right now. I mean, the volatility is so large that a scalp is 20 to 40 handles. Honestly, what I'm going to be watching for is something like this. So we break above it, we do this, and then we get a crazy aggressive lower candle right into this breaker, and then we move higher. That's would be nice to see. I could see that happening. Roger. Roger that. There's nothing really here. We're inside the range, our range from today. This is that range. So how much higher do we want to go? I don't know. I don't know. Especially at the previous day low. Five-minute did not close above its fair value gap. The 15-minute, now we have a 15-minute SIBI. Anchored to that level there. Yeah, I'm only interested, yeah. This has a lot of room of working its way back up, but I think if there's anywhere it's going to stop, it's going to be somewhere inside this 15-minute because we have this order block sitting right here on the 1 minute. Here's my lesson I think I'm taking away. Here's what I'm taking away. So this is not the first time I've seen this. And when we got news at 10 o'clock, if I'm seeing clean, low resistance price action right here, I need to take this. I was going to take the trade right there, and I didn't. Right as it wicked into that order block for a continuation lower. But I didn't. I thought maybe we're at the bottom. Maybe we're going to consolidate before we hit our 10 a.m. price. But if I'm seeing price action like this, which that is low resistance. There's zero resistance. It's literally falling. That means 10 a.m. is irrelevant at this point. And I need to play based on the charts, not necessarily waiting for 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is a good rule to have if you don't see clean price action like this. It wasn't clean right here. I wasn't going to take anything. But when you get 7 candles or so in a row, and then you put in an order block, this should have been a continuation entry right there. Drawdown would have been 4 handles. Honestly, I think the rest of the morning is going to be pretty crappy. Diane, good morning. That's my... Oh, for... are you talking about prior to news? If you get clean price action? So the thing about it is, like, so I did a test example to show you guys. If you were to literally just take a trade... I think it was right here. I don't remember where it was, to be honest. Make sure. I'm getting a notification that it was a little choppy there, so I apologize if it's a little choppy. But when we were seeing this drop right here, I took a short on an expansion candle. And to illustrate that even if you're trying to catch this move, you can't catch it on an expansion candle because it will retrace and put you in a position where you're afraid that it could reverse and then you stop yourself out. The only way that I would be getting into those is we get that expansion lower, we get a retracement into a fair value gap, we close below that, turning this into a breaker or an order block, and then we re-enter on the tag of it right there. That would be the only way I would do it, and I didn't do it because of the 10 a.m. But I should have. That's just the truth. I should have. No entry here. Where do you get your entry? Did it retrace into a fair value gap? All it did was bounce off of the previous day low. Yeah, but then you have a bunch of wiki candles. I'm not doing that. I don't regret missing this at all. I'm not taking that. All right, so here's the equilibrium of the range tagged right there. It's look like it's pushing right through. So that tells me, if anything, I'm targeting London and the new day opening gap as an area for retracement. I'll be right back in the use restroom. Ran into that order block, filled the 15-minute fair value gap and rejecting. I'm talking about the sell at 947. Not right now. Oh, yeah. Nice, Roger. I started watching equilibriums of the previous day range because of the effectiveness of Friday's equilibrium of a draw on liquidity. So on Monday, if you take a look, there's a very high probability that on Monday, the price on Monday will run towards Friday's equilibrium. And it does it like 70% of the time. It's a huge number at some point, either on Sunday or Monday. And because of that, I started looking more and researching and studying more on how price interacts with the midpoint of the previous day candle, and how if it stays above or below it, it's a sign of price moving in a certain direction. And that has helped in just my higher time frame analysis on where it wants to go. We initially had our wick level here, and once that failed, we moved it to the equilibrium of the previous day range, and look what happened. We run below it, we run up to it, tag it to the tick, almost to the tick, one tick off, run up to it, and then reject and continue lower. So I'm noticing that if you identify the previous day's consequent encroachment or mean threshold, the middle of that, the daily range of the previous day, that it is an area to focus on, area of importance that is referenced a lot by the algorithm. It tells you where price may or may not go. If I didn't sell when I did on this inversion right here, if I didn't sell at this high, I would have been stopped out. This candle right here came all the way back down, would have stopped me out, and then moved in my direction. I see that so often with the inversion model that I have, where you target the swing high like this. That's your target to move your stop to break even. So you either take profit at that level or you move your stop to break even at that level. So when that happens, I see so often that the next candle will run back down, stop it out, and then continue higher. At the same time, I've seen so many times where we'll run that level and then we'll completely reverse. And that's the main reason why I have to move my stop at break even here, is to prevent this candle from completely reversing and losing my profit. It's like a catch-22 on that. So price on Monday tends to draw towards Friday's EQ. Previous day EQ acts as a point of control. Yes, Roger, correct. You can see it here from today. This is the previous day's equilibrium of the previous day's range. I have it right there. You can see it. So if let me remark it. Previous day EQ. So there it is, PDEQ right here. PDEQ. And that's linked to yesterday's range. Here's another failure swing right here, and if it closes below, that could be a entry. I want to wait for it to come back up and touch this level before I take it, because it's pretty large. If it comes back up and touches it. It didn't, and it might run. 26 handles so far. That would have been a great trade. I just wasn't willing to take the risk of my drawdown being 56 handles. But there's a good chance we run for these lows right here. Bummed I missed that. 32 handles. Price action's not too bad. Tagged my breaker. Wow. I want to get a confirmation that this 5-minute closes above this order block. If we can get a 5-minute to close above this, this turns into an order block. We can see if we can find a level down here for price to find support out to move higher. That's kind of how I would treat that. Doesn't look like it's going to give it to us though. I've seen this work so many times. I think I was afraid. Honestly, it has to be fear. I was afraid that this was just going to keep going like this. So by the time it reacts and gets up here, I'm like, that's too far. That's 30 handles. You got to be fearless on those entries. Fearless.